Hello and good afternoon, and welcome to another edition of Talking To. I am your host, Rufus Bill. Today is Sunday, July 16th, 2023, 7 o'clock p.m. Eastern Time. We're coming to you live from the city of Detroit, Michigan, and metropolitan area of Detroit, Michigan, on this beautiful sunny day. How has your day been? What have you done today that has been something different than you normally have done? Hmm? I'm curious to know. Listen, I want you to share with your friends that we're on the air today, and you can join into the conversation by going into our chat room, or you can also, you can go into the conversation. You can join the conversation by going into the chat room, and from the chat room, you're able to come into the live feed. So we extend a very warm welcome to you to do that today. Like and share, and we'd be greatly appreciative if you do that. And without further ado, we would like to say good afternoon to Joanne Tosin Fuller. How are you today, Joanne? You doing all right?
I'm doing good. How about you?
I'm doing well today too.
Okay. It's a beautiful day.
Isn't it a beautiful day?
Yes,
This is
it
your kind of
is.
day.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
your kind of day.
Yes,
So
yes, yes.
how has your morning and afternoon been up until this point?
It's what? It was very relaxing. I had a
Was
meeting this
it?
morning, but that was online. Because I
Okay.
had an event last night that I didn't get home till the wee hours.
All
So
right.
it was good to just relax.
I know.
To just relax. And
That's
so,
so
yeah. Yes, yes, yes.
well, that's good. I went to play this morning in church,
Mm-hmm.
and I am happy to report that the choir they get like two thumbs up.
Who thought? All right now. All right.
That's
All
that's
right.
what I said.
That's great.
That is very great. Oh, and they
Oh my
just were doing it,
goodness.
and they were feeling it and just singing. I said, "Oh, listen to them." So
Wow.
I'm always
Wow.
grateful when the music goes the way it's planned.
Yeah. Or even better than it's planned.
Or
Mm-hmm.
even I like that even better than it's planned, because that
Yes.
was the case
Yes.
today. Even better than it's planned.
Awesome. Mm-hmm.
So can it's wild to believe that today is July 16th
Oh, already.
already, and this is our last show for this season. And we were just saying offline how fast it has come and gone.
I'm telling you.
It
Wow.
just is. It's been like a snowball. The snowball is rolling, and it gets all that momentum, and then in our case, then we get ready to go on a break.
Isn't
The
that the
big
truth?
boom.
How
That's it.
time flies. How
How
time
time
flies.
flies.
Oh
How
my
time
goodness.
flies. And I did not mention, and let us mention, Justin is away on vacation in Nashville, Tennessee,
All right.
and enjoying his summer months.
Well deserved, I know.
Yes,
Well deserved
indeed.
vacation.
I
Yeah.
saw that some of his Facebook posts, and it appears that he's having a good old Southern country good time.
Good, good.
Yeah. So,
Mhm.
last night the city of Detroit was on just on fire with so many events. Now, was your event in the downtown area, Joanne?
No, actually, my event was in Southfield.
It was in
It
Southfield.
was in Southfield, yes.
Good. So your guests didn't have to contend with all of the traffic downtown. So
No. Ooh, that would
we
have been a
had,
mess.
or that would have been a mess. There was Ed Sheeran. He was at Little Caesars Arena. Are you familiar with that artist? He's a British artist.
I've heard the
Vic-
name. I've heard some of his music. Yes. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
So Ed Sheeran was there.
Okay.
Then I think the African World Festival, was that this weekend?
That was this weekend because I ain't got.
That's this weekend. That's in Hart Plaza. Then further down Jefferson, they had the Dramatics. Who else? The OJs, and there was one other group that was there at Shane
Wow.
Park.
Wow.
So that little L area was
Oh
on
my goodness.
fire. And I don't know, have you been to Shane Park this season?
Not this season. No, I have not had the opportunity.
So I did have the opportunity to see one show there. And so
Okay.
now that it has changed drastically in terms of that parking, where you could get away with parking on the street,
Uh-huh.
they now just give you a ticket. But you have to park in one of the parking lots,
What are the lots?
one of the
Wow.
lots, in the area, which is
Okay.
and it's $20, you know, for the event. However, they still have not
So they don't
perfected.
try to jack you.
Right.
Is what you're saying.
They haven't perfected a way to get us out. It's still a ball of confusion. Now, you gone to at Pine Knob or the DT or when it was called DTE Energy out there in what is that, Rochester Hills? I think my screen is frozen. Can you hear me, Joanne? So I was saying, out when you go to Pine Knob, it's gone back to the name Pine Knob, and all of those cars are there, and you can be all on the parking lot full of people. But after the concert, they are able to guide us and get us off that parking lot orderly and with a certain amount of speed. And it just amazes me that Shane Park hasn't been able to master that yet.
Wow.
So I think we have some audio techno difficulties on on Joanne's end. We're going to work on that for a moment. But anyway, so as I was saying, it seems that with all of the many years, 25 years, this is the 26th year of Shane Park, putting on concerts and events there. Well, I'm sorry, at the Aretha. 25 years at the Aretha. If you would think by now they would be able to navigate all the cars, all the people coming out of the Aretha back up to Jefferson. Maybe all of those streets or some of those streets should be one way, going one way. It eventually happens. Eventually we can get to our destination after leaving the park. But the process that it takes, the minutes that it takes to leave the Aretha should be improved. So that's just a minor, as Lonnie Peake would say, a sidebar to the conversation. But yes, all of that was going on in the city of Detroit last night. And so a lot of people coming into the city, which is very good for the downtown area and for the businesses there, for the restaurants, for the hotels, because a lot of people came in from out of town to see these various shows because these artists are not always able to, or do they make every city. It's hard to make every city in the area as they're doing their touring, as they're doing their shows. So people come from out of town to see the show. So it was good revenue for the business last night in the city of Detroit. All right, Joanne, you good over there?
I think so.
You-
I think so. Someone
okay.
just kicked me out.
Don't kick out our host. So,
Oh
Joanne, this
goodness.
has been an interesting week in the news in the city of Detroit. We have that has gone all across worldwide with our well, now he is the former chairperson of the Detroit Police, the police commissioners, Brian Ferguson,
Yes.
and this happened Wednesday morning around 7 a.m. In his not far from his home, and he was stopped for soliciting a, a woman who was known to be a prostitute,
Right. Right.
and was caught first by an undercover police that drove by, and then a patrol car came and uh, had him to get out of the car and ticketed him. Now, the interesting thing about all of this, before Mr. Ferguson made his comments, the law enforcement agent was already making the comments. He was giving a detailed report of what happened. And Mr. Ferguson came and said it was all a mistake.
Mm.
a, a
So
misunderstanding.
he was caught, or and
Yes,
officers saw that he parked somewhere, something, or they saw what was going down, right?
right.
And then so even after that, he didn't move. He didn't say, I gotta move the car, I gotta go, we go somewhere else. So then somebody else, he stayed right there.
He stayed right there.
Hmm.
He stayed right there.
Hmm.
He certainly did. And so it was the other police officer, the other undercover cop that signaled to the patrol car. Now, what was interesting, or what is interesting, this area is well known for high prostitution. This area is also near his home.
Oh boy.
So I don't know, allegedly, it could be safe to say that he was familiar with the lady. Nonetheless,
Come on. Really?
Mr. Police Commissioner,
Really?
how can you say it was a misunderstanding and the police officer caught you? Oh, how can I forget when he told the police officer who he was and if he could look out for him?
Huh?
Yes.
Oh, come on. I mean, okay, so if it was near your home, and I'm not condoning any of this.
Oh, right.
For real,
For real.
that have to be in the car. Can you take it home? Can you take it to it? And then you feel like you're above the law, so that someone is going to, okay, I'm gonna stand here and watch guard for you. I'm gonna be your bodyguard. I'm gonna be your lookout. I'm gonna be
Look
your
out.
point man. Whatever. Really, that
Really.
is. Come on. Are you? To me, are you that desperate? Are you that needy?
Yes. Would
That's
have to be.
that says a lot, though. That says a
It's,
lot about who thinks he was or
it's
is.
a, yes. And I wouldn't say it's a form of being a narcissistic behavior trait. I am Brian Ferguson. I am the chairman of the Detroit Police Commissioner. Look out for me. You can
Wow.
look out for me. Now, of course, after they didn't, um, he came out with his story a day later, and he said he was driving on the street. He heard something in the cab of his truck. He pulled over to get out to look and see what the noise was. And while he was doing this, this lady is running down the street, and she jumped in his car. And he went back to the driver's side and said, "Get out of my car." And she said, "Somebody is chasing me. They're going to kill me." He said, "Get out of my car." Now, now I don't know, but I believe the police commissioners are sworn to some type of oath or duty to help citizens. And if that was true, Mr. Former Commissioner, you wouldn't help a woman who said that someone was chasing her, trying to kill her, and you say, "Get out of your car"?
Right, right. And weren't they? Now I could be wrong, but weren't they kind of caught in the act?
But they were caught in the act, yes.
Oh, get out of my car! But
before you go.
so what's that old saying? Knock me in the head and call me stupid.
Right. Oh, but you know that has made news all over. But you know the question becomes to be, at this point, how can you choose a leader? I mean, how do you really choose a leader? Because there are vetting process that people go through, especially being on a police anything.
And do you really know? I mean, with anyone, do you really know? It's an interview,
It's an interview,
and so everything can look good. Even your background check, your paperwork can look good, but then who you really are, the person that you really are, comes out later.
yes.
And so can you really determine who someone really is beforehand, before it literally comes out? We don't know. And then sometimes I think it's positions that that those quote unquote power positions that we think, okay, once they get there, they think that, "Ooh, I got it. I can kind of do what I want to do." And I don't know if they say it out loud, but I think it's just, I'm the police commissioner, so I can kind of do what I want to do, because you all need to look out for me. I'm the one. I'm the
The
head.
cat's meow.
So I don't. That's really hard.
It's really hard. It really is hard. I don't know if there are. I know companies would not be willing to take psychological tests, but I don't know if in certain positions if that should be. And then of course, testing that could even be fooled. You can even
kind of fake
cheat.
it on the
Yeah,
test.
you can fake
Like,
it on a test.
because you're trying to get a job. You're trying to get a position, and so how do you really know? How do you really know? And that just
really don't.
Even like Hill Harper.
Yes, Hill Harper running for Senate.
See who he is. We kind of see some of his background,
Mm-hmm.
but when he gets into this position that he's looking for, is he that person?
Right.
Is he truly that person, or will it change him? Because I do believe that some of these positions seem to change people too.
Mm-hmm.
So, we know how he is as an actor. We know how he is as an advocate. We know how he is as, as a political, because he always has had some political, his foot in the political realm.
Right.
He's an activist. He's an
Even in his films.
yes, but running for
Mm-hmm.
Senate and getting that position, what will that do? Will he actually be that same person, or will it change him? We don't know.
We
We
don't know.
we don't know.
But what is interesting, and these are some great questions for Dr. Kim, Logan Nolan. What
Yeah.
goes on in the mind of a person that would risk everything to do something so? What is the word that I'm looking for? That could have all type of
You know,
uh,
not heinous, because it's not a
right, not heinous,
but
but that edge type of
your,
behavior.
your career, detrimental to your life, to your career.
Your a married family man, but living on the edge and I know, he's a police commissioner, or not even just this particular case. You have access to know what's going on, and you still would dare to try to pull it off and get away. It would have to be something psychological that
Yeah.
would drive someone to do that.
Yeah. Yeah. Is it a form of narcissism? A form of that I'm above the law?
Well, yeah, no, that could be.
That I'm who I am. So, but especially since you're stating that he asked somebody to watch his back, basically.
Yeah, basically.
Look out for me, because I'm doing what I want to do. So
you got me, bro. I don't know that is it's interesting because the mind is so tricky, and
yes.
and when when it's trained to think a certain way, or when you have certain type of behaviors and you nurture it, these behaviors, and your mind just will act on that.
And that's it is a nurture. You nurture certain behaviors, because I'm sure in the beginning I don't know, but he probably was a straight up, I'm doing my job, but as he saw, I could do this and got away with it. I can, that slid through, because of because of who I am. So, so as things progress, it's like, okay. So now your mindset is
exactly what it is. I had a conversation once with a former congressperson, and they had served in the city of Detroit, on the Detroit City Council, on the Detroit School Board, an activist in the community, and now that they were on the level of a congressperson, and they were facing being indicted for monies that were missing, and it forced this congressperson to leave office. And so we were having this conversation down at the studio, and I don't think she was intended to say this. I just think, she was just talking and she just felt comfortable. And she was coming out of the office anyway. But she said, well, when I took a little here and I took a little bit here to do this over here, she said, when I looked up, there was so much that was missing, I couldn't put it back.
Yeah.
But according to the congressperson, didn't steal the money, but was taking the money to do good in other areas. and but then
Got out of hand, out of
it got out of
control.
hand.
Hmm.
It got out of hand. So as you say, you have your easy access to a lot of power, of a lot of resources, a
Yes.
lot of connections that you've never had and probably would never have
Right.
unless you were in that position.
Right. Right.
So I don't know. I'm sure there will be more to come because of the position of Mr. Ferguson,
Hmm.
an in-depth investigation as only the Detroit media can do. As
Yeah.
the Detroit media can do.
I was not, but I wouldn't, but kind of would love to be a fly on the wall in his house.
I,
But no, no, not really, but kind of
but
sort of.
but just going to sort of in in the
Uh-huh.
media kind of way. Awesome. This we have learned of the transition of the great Joanne, I should say the great Reverend Joanne Watson, who
Yes,
has
yes,
been the matriarch of justice in the city of Detroit for as long as I can remember.
yes, yes. So sad. So
Very
sad.
sad.
So it
And
sounded like she hadn't been sick, and that's what it
exactly.
sounded that it
Hmm.
was a sudden death. So you wonder if it was like a heart attack or a stroke or
Yes.
no, it's
Something of that nature.
mhm.
She was the first woman to serve as the chairperson. I'm sorry, the executive director for the NAACP here in the
Yes,
Detroit chapter,
yes.
and she also was affiliated years ago with the Shrine of the Black Madonna. I don't remember the years that
For
she
that.
was,
Mm-hmm.
but she was very
Yeah.
active in that movement, in that culture. Um, I had the opportunity to work with her as she was on city council when she beat Gil Hill in one of those races
Mm-hmm.
for that seat, and she had already served, I believe, a term prior to that particular election. But whenever she was on the show, or whenever we interviewed her, whatever was going on, it was always about the people, literally. For Black people, especially, to be able
Yes.
to get up and dust yourself off, and as her radio talk show was "Wake Up Detroit," wake up the minds and the consciousness of the citizens of Detroit, and I love that about her. I remember when you were probably in Indiana, maybe where you were out of Michigan,
Mm-hmm.
but there was an incident that happened at Fairlane Mall in Dearborn, Michigan. If I'm not mistaken,
Mm.
someone was coming out of Saks and they were shoplifting, and the security guards from Saks dragged or forced the people back into the store in some type of way. One of the individuals, they were killed in a tussle, and it may have
Wow.
been due to that chokehold that we see so commonly, throughout the social
Now,
media.
yes.
So, however, they organized that they didn't to boycott the mall, and Joanne was Councilwoman Joanne Watson was part of the organization, I believe, process. But anyway, she showed up and
Okay.
came to the people, and she spoke at the rally because it was a very big rally, and it was something because there were snipers on top of Fairlane trying
Mm.
to make sure that no one was going to be
Wow.
out of behavior. And she spoke to the crowd and she spoke to the people, and she told them to exercise their rights, and they had a choice and they had a right to boycott, but
Mm.
she was stressing the need for peaceful boycotting and peaceful rallying,
Yes.
and I think because of that, she helped quell the temperature of what could have possibly have happened at Fairlane Mall. And even after she retired off of the scene of the Detroit City Council, she was an instructor at Wayne County Community
Uh-huh.
College, and so she taught English. So she was still shaping the
Yeah.
mind
So,
of individuals, of young people, of all types of people in her classroom, and she was a very good teacher, very good teacher,
yes.
and her pupils and her students really, really loved her well, but she will be greatly
Awesome.
missed. And,
Mhm. And she's so
and for this
yes,
this
yeah.
community. So, Joanne, give me
What a
your
void.
take.
I'm
Yep, a void,
telling
definitely.
you.
So, give me your take on gospel music now. When you hear the music of on the radio, what do you
Hmm.
think about it? Do you have an opinion on it? Do you question it? Are you able to relate to it? I think we're having a little more difficulty there. But so that the music, you often hear about the music changing. Can you hear me, Joanne? I see you. Let's see if she can see me. So she can't see me because the screen is frozen. But when you hear so many artists that come out all the time, and new artists coming out, they're on a coming out of a revolving door. We have so much to choose, but everyone always says it's not like the music of before, or what I grew up on. Just even in recent years, music has changed. The delivery, the style, the even the genre of the music. Everyone right now, it seems, to who puts out a project, they have a form of a praise and worship song, or worship music, they call it. And it's sweet melodies in some cases, usually melodic, speaking of the goodness of Jesus, or sometimes it's not speaking of the goodness of Jesus. Maybe it's crying out to Jesus. I've heard several people say, musicians and artists say, that type of music is nice in its place. Now, in its place, I'm not sure what does that mean exactly, in its place. But these particular people that I talk to about their choice of music tend to like traditional gospel music. They like the choral sound, the choir sound, the the traditional sound of gospel music. And so I think all of that is just based on your choice. But so I was asking you, Joanne, what do you think about today's gospel music? Can you hear me? Can you see me? I think Joanne is in a bad zone. Can you hear me, Joanne? Okay, there she is. I see you talking. Okay, how about now? I see a little bit. The I think we're just moving in slow motion on the engineering side because it's not doing what I'm saying for it to do. uh, of course, it would be going like that. Okay, I think it's caught up. Joanne, can you hear me? So, so see, doing anything live, it can go either way. Joanne, let's see. I know that she's on. Can you hear me? I know. So we just have. Please forgive me tonight for the technical difficulties that we're having. Can you hear me, Joanne? Let's see here. Let's go back to the other one. I'm going back to the other one. Can you hear me over here? So I don't think you can hear me over here either. That's all right. And I'll try back over here. I see you. Can you see me? I don't think she can see me. So, nonetheless, on last evening, we celebrated in Las Vegas, Nevada. We had the Stellar Awards. The Stellar Awards. The Stellar Awards is an industry award that honors gospel music. And I believe it was the 38th annual Stellar Awards. And let's see. So we had Joanne back for a minute. And so it seems that the winner, who took a lot of the artist that took a lot of the awards for Artist of the Year and Song of the Year and Male Vocalist of the Year, is Pastor Mike. Pastor Mike. Joanne, are you familiar with Pastor Mike? I think I
Yeah,
hear a little
Pastor
volume coming
Mike. The
in.
name
Yes.
the name sounds familiar. Pastor Mike.
So
Yeah.
he was like the main winner last night at the Stellar Awards that were held in Las Vegas. As I said earlier, Artist of the Year, Song of the Year, Male Vocalist of the Year. Also,
Awesome. Now, what's his
yes,
song? I don't remember. I'm trying to.
I think one of his songs may be "Winning." Have you heard that? Winning.
You know what? I'd have to hear. Yeah.
That's what I said too.
Yeah.
I would have to hear the music. Also, now Albertina Walker, she was the former singer of the Caravans and noted
Mm-hmm.
gospel singer. She won for female artist of the year.
Oh, she has a new
Did you
album
hear?
now. I mean,
That's well. I was just going to ask you.
I-
Were you aware of her
Albert.
having a album out? I said,
Wow.
Mother got one
That's
over on me.
yeah. That's interesting. I know she's still around,
Right,
but
still
I did not
around.
know that she was still recording, or I know she does some of the old things that they used to do, but I
Exactly.
didn't know that she was still recording and all that. That's
And I
interesting.
was unaware either. Yes. So I guess she said, Shirley, you're not the
Yeah.
only one keeping up with Shirley Caesar.
That's right. That's right. But yeah, so tell me how you feel. And you probably said it, but I probably couldn't hear you about some of the new gospel songs that are are coming out.
Well, you know, Joanne, some of the music I really like. Um,
Yeah.
I'm not familiar with a lot of the artists by name, but there's one local artist, Kevin Stewart. He has a tradition, pretty much traditional sound. He does a little
Hmm.
contemporary, but I like his traditional music. Um, I like Israel. I think
Yes.
Israel does a fantastic job
Yes, he does.
with his music. It is very engaging. You know,
Yes.
people learn it. It's easy to teach to choirs, but just to
Yes.
see how the response of the people
And
of his music,
it has a true, to me, it has a true message.
it
He's
has a
really
true
trying
message.
to get the people to understand something.
Yes,
So that's how
I-
I look at
yeah.
Israel. Yeah, I really do.
I love and it's universal because
Yes.
it's not like just this one particular sound or one particular style. It's always uh, innovative, you
Yes.
know.
Yeah.
So I like Israel's style. I even like that she had to grow on me. Tasha Cobbs.
Okay.
She
Yeah.
um I was on the fence because just because of her delivery.
Mm-hmm.
I'm talented. I would say she's talented, but her delivery
Yeah.
kind of was scared. You know, was like ah, and and one day I just had the music on. Her song came on, and I heard the words for the very first time, and
Wow.
that's what caught my attention, and I knew it was her. But I said, okay. I heard the words
Yeah.
then, but you know,
Yeah.
some of the artists, they don't have the luxury of having their music played a lot. So if it doesn't catch the person on the first time, it could be it may not be beneficial for that particular artist. But just because that she was in rotation on
Right.
YouTube, it came because I would have never selected the song to play. But and
Okay.
then maybe I was
Okay.
in a
Mm.
different frame of mind. But yes, so I'm very open to some of the music, to most of it. Um,
Same here.
yeah.
And I like different, because I like different music also, and styles, and all of that. So I'm open to a lot of the newer gospel, the newer,
Hmm.
um we even have like a young lady here who's, I say she's up and coming, Bailey. I'm trying to think of her first name, but she is that acoustic guitar,
Oh,
mellow,
yes.
but it's gospel, and
Hmm.
I just think it's beautiful, and I think we don't need to watch out for her.
Okay.
And
Is she from the Detroit area?
trying to think of her first, but yeah, young lady Bailey. That's her last name
Okay.
is Bailey, but she's up and
Bailey.
coming. So, and her style turned off, but from the Detroit area, I think she's actually from the Conant Church. But
Oh,
she's up and
really?
coming. She really is, and she writes. Um,
Nice.
Bailey, very talented, and
Hmm.
just, but she's the acoustic sitting on
The
the guitar,
stool.
that style, that,
Yeah, I like
but it's
that.
beautiful. I mean, beautiful. Yes, yeah, yeah.
You
So
know,
I'm open to a lot of it. I'm open to a lot of it. A lot of gospel music. It's okay with me.
yeah, it's okay with
Hey,
me. I see that.
by any means necessary,
How
getting
about
the word
that?
out.
At
That's
this
just
stage of the
how
game,
I feel.
by any means necessary. You know, I was talking to a friend of mine, and
Yeah.
he was talking about how the sanctuaries have changed, where they have lights and They have the boards going, the screens in the back, and he of course he's very traditionalist. And I had to ask him. I said, "Well, is it distracting to you?" And he said, "Yes." I said, "Then don't look at it, and then don't go to the churches that have it. Stick in your lane. If you like to go to a church where there are no screens and there are no lights and everything is like it was back in the 70s when you were coming up as a child, stay in that lane. It's fine. I, on the other hand, I don't have a problem with it because it doesn't bother me one way or the other. But you, in today's society, and you have a different demographic of people who may not can get conditioned to an old or a traditional way. They may want to see that. They may need that to be able to have the type of worship experience that they need or that they want. So I just say it go for it. Everything is good. Everything is good. Joanne, I know that you are there. Can you hear me? Can you see me? Can you feel me? Hello? You can? So, what we're going to do, because of the connection, we are going to, let's see, we're going to come out of here for just a minute and see. Okay, so we did lose Joanne. But anyway, we're going to be off for the next 12 weeks and then we will return with another season. And we want to thank everybody and all of our viewers and our those who participate in our chat and who like to make comments. We greatly thank you and appreciate you for taking your Sundays, spending your Sunday evenings and after your evenings with us, talking to Justin Hearn, Joanne Tolson Fuller, and yours truly, Rufus Bill. We thank you, we thank you, we thank you, we thank you, and enjoy the rest of your day and enjoy the rest of your summer.